Welcome back to the We Are T1D podcast, your go-to spot for all things type 1 diabetes, served with a side of banter and a lot of heart, and of course with myself, Mike as host, joined by my lovely co-host, Jack.
Hi everyone. Today we have got something really exciting lined up. We are taking a stroll down memory lane, sharing the big milestones in our T1D journeys. So from the first time that we've injected ourselves, to surviving our first hypo, to feeling truly proud of how far we've come, we're talking about it all.
Yeah, we really are. We're going to dive into those moments that hit hard, but also those little victories that make all the difference. Whether you're new to type 1 or you've been managing it for years, we promise this one's going to hit home.
And of course, we want to hear from you as always. What were your big milestones? What advice would you give to your younger self? Hit us both up on social media or drop us a message. We love hearing your stories, guys. You know this.
Yep. Also, leave a comment on Spotify or Apple as well in the reviews. Come on, guys. No neglecting it. Grab your insulin pens. Give a little tap on your CGM. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the We Are T1D podcast.
The realest type 1 diabetes podcast online. Hosted by myself, Mike, diagnosed at the age of 10.
And myself, Jack, diagnosed at the age of 30.
We are just two mates giving you an insight into life with this chronic condition.
Yes, we are adults, and although we try not to swear, it may happen occasionally.
Yeah, as Jack said, we are adults, but please take what we say as guidance and not medical advice.
No, trust me, we are not doctors.
We are just here to make sure no type 1 diabetic ever feels alone. So starting up, we've got to start with diagnosis. So,
can you remember yours, you dinosaur?
Do you know, I do. My diagnosis, obviously, ignoring all the symptoms and the build up to going into hospital, I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah. You was young though.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was a kid. I didn't know. My football team got me a signed ball by QPR. Obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan, but that sticks in my memory. That's...
It's a nice gesture.
Yeah.
Good job it wasn't a Tottenham ball, wasn't it?
Oh, mate. Could you imagine? Also, I come out of hospital and my dad, he got me this weird monster head thing with paints in it. I just remember that as well. We went to Woolworths.
Oh, wow.
So my diagnosis, I don't actually remember much. I just got it and I had to learn what it was and everything. There was no, oh, my mate's got it. He's got it.
Yeah.
My nan's got it. There's none of that. I just didn't know what it was. So my first diagnosis, I was clueless. But obviously you was a bit older.
Yeah.
So what was your immediate reaction when you were first diagnosed with type 1 diabetes?
I can remember mine, and I'm sure I mentioned this in one of our first episodes, but I didn't know what was going on. All I remember is I went to a normal doctor's appointment just to get checked out because I felt like shit. And the first thing they done was test my sugars. And I remember my sugars were 33.6. I'm sure they were that number. Exactly. It was 33 point something. And the nurse looked at me and went, "What have you eaten?" I'm like, I don't even know what that machine is. I have no clue what that number means. I don't know. I've just been eating. I think I had like chicken burgers or something for lunch while I was at home. So, as I said, I remember when I saw the doctor, he said, "I think you've got diabetes. You need to go to the hospital." Rah, 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 rah. So obviously it's all a blur, and I didn't really think a lot. Then when I was in the ward waiting and I had a drip in my arm, the nurse come and saw me. And the first thing he said was, looked at my notes. He went, "Are you a known diabetic?" I'm looking like, "No, mate, no." And he was like, "Well, I think you are now." And that was it. From that point, I looked at Zoe like, what the fuck, man? Like, my whole life has just gone from here to here in the space of half an hour. Like, what the fuck has just happened? And as I say, if you remember me mentioning, I spent 4 days in hospital trying to get my high blood sugars down and getting rid of my ketones.
Yeah.
nothing really finally set in until I walked through my door at home after I got discharged. I've had all my diagnoses, I've got all my kit, I've got everything. I was actually quite happy. Like I'm out of hospital, I'm happy, happy, happy. As soon as I walked in my kitchen and I put everything that they'd given me on the side, and I've just got needles, insulin pens, sensors, these finger pricks, this, and it just absolutely and I broke down into absolute bits. So I just thought my whole life was fucked.
See, that's the thing. With diagnosis, I think the biggest fear, obviously, is the scare of it.
Yeah.
You've got this chronic condition now. But it's also the unknown.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I've got a cold. Let me just have a bit of antibiotics or something, you know?
Yeah, a bit of bed rest for a week and you'll be all right. Like this is not going away. This is with me for forever.
It's the fear of it. So if you are a new type 1 diabetic, listen to this podcast, just educate yourself on as much as you can and ask a lot of questions to your medical team and everything. Just get educated.
Do you know what? I would say that is one thing I really did lack. And I didn't ask enough questions. I tried to figure out everything for myself, which is good because, like I say, it's only you that can put information in your head. I'm one of them people that if someone tells me something, it completely goes through me. But if I sit there and read something for myself, it will go in.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, you think of a big building, it needs that solid foundation, and education is that.
Yeah.
Me with my analogies.
I know, this is very powerful this week, Michael. I like it. But like I said, that is a good, like, if I was to say, like, looking back, and if I could give any piece of advice when I first got that initial diagnosis, it would be ask questions and don't panic. You're going to be all right.
Yeah, you are going to be all right. Make sure that's in your head. That needs to be the first thing in your head. You're going to be all right.
Yeah, you will be fine. It's complicated, but you'll be cool.
Yeah, you will. If not, you have this podcast to make you smile.
Yeah.
Nah, you'll be fine, honestly.
I do remember my first injection when I got my diagnosis.
Ooh.
Like the first time I actually done the injection for myself, because they gave me units of insulin the following morning I went in. When I actually went in, they didn't give me no insulin, nothing at all. All I was on liquids, on a drip, straight into my vein to just hydrate myself, I suppose, to get rid of all the ketones.
Did they put you on it's called a sliding scale?
Didn't give me nothing. The only thing that was in my arm on my body was one of them little pulse heart rate things on my finger, because obviously I was in the board, and I had a drip in my arm with like a saline solution flushing out my bloods.
That's mad.
But that was it. And then, as I say, the next morning, I remember the first injection, the nurse done for me.
Yeah.
It was just like a case of like, right, lift your top up. This is what you got to do. They put the needle in, gave me a couple of units and pulled it out. And then that was it. But the next time they gave me the pen. And I remember I was so nervous, man. So nervous. But the thing I remember that kept going on in my head was, this is it for the rest of your life now. Just do it. You got to do it. You've got no choice. You've got to do it.
Yeah. Do you know what? Even though I was 10 years old, and it was many, many years ago, I still remember my first injection.
Really?
I remember being in Hillingdon Hospital. I was in the Peter Pan ward, which ain't even there anymore, I don't think.
I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I remember being in there. I remember being told I can't leave hospital until I learn how to inject myself. I think my first injection was I think it was in my arm.
Well, that makes sense, because a lot of children inject in their arms, don't they?
I don't know if that's why I've always had a fear of my arms, because that was the beginning of it all.
Maybe. I bet the needles were a lot different back then as well, weren't they?
I don't know. I can't remember that much.
I can guarantee they weren't tiny little 4mm skinny little things.
Mate, it weren't the 1970s.
Well, did you have proper like a Nova Rapid pen then?
No, it was human mixtard.
We've had this discussion before as well, haven't we?
We have. But I remember that. But the pride I got, I still got it in my mum and dad's garage. It's my first self-injection certificate.
Oh, wow.
So if I can dig it out, I'll post it on social media or something.
I didn't get a certificate. I want a certificate. I'm bringing the hospital.
Get one.
I want it backdated.
So I had a real sense of pride with my first injection. Although the fear, obviously I had the fear. I'm a kid. I need to inject myself.
Yeah, see, I remember my first injection when I was at home out of the hospital.
Ooh.
Now that was a scary one. Because like I say, I knew I had to do it.
Yeah.
But I remember sitting in bed and I think my blood sugars were going high. And I used to be scared to, I don't know if you remember this, I used to be scared to do corrections. So I'd go out for a walk.
Yes.
I would literally get up at like 11:30, 11:45 at night, put my tracksuit on and go for a walk around the block. Because I didn't want to do corrections. I was scared of what it was going to do to me.
Yeah, I remember that. But I remember I was actually really scared of injections because I had to get a special injection thing where it was like spring loaded.
Okay.
So I'd used to have to click it and that would shoot it against my leg and then I'd have to dial it in. Because I was scared of putting that needle in me.
Yeah, see, I was never scared of actually doing the injection. That wasn't the thing that gave me the fear. It was what it was going to do to me because everything was just so new. I didn't have a clue what was going on. I actually remember the first night I stayed at home, my bloods were going up, and it was my mum that said, you need to do a correction because obviously she deals with type 1 diabetic children. So she was like, you need to do a correction, Jack. Just do 2 units. Or even 1 unit, just do what you feel confident, whatever they've told you in the hospital, and just watch it. So I had it in my head, I need to be on point. So I remember I injected 2 units. I set my alarm for every 2 hours during the night. So I would wake up and finger prick just to make sure that because I was that scared what was going to happen to me.
That's crazy. See, with me, it was the fear of the injection because I knew the insulin would keep me alive. But I think that also might be because the insulin was different back then. It was like a mix of quick and long together. It was not as advanced as it is now.
Yeah, even things like it just clicked into my head. I was, for the first, say, 2 months, even on Saturdays and Sundays, I was waking up every morning at 6:30 in the morning to do my Lantus because that's what sort of time they gave it to me in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I was convinced that I had to do it the exact same time every single day. And if I missed it, I was going to end up in hospital again.
Yeah, that's crazy. But advice-wise to anyone that are injecting, don't be scared. It's keeping you alive.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt.
No.
It's
can.
not sugar-coated, but it does. It does sometimes when you hit like you hit a dodgy nerve but that comes with experience because I know now, as soon as I put that needle about a millimeter under my skin, I know the feeling. And if it don't feel right, it's coming out and it's going somewhere else.
Yeah. The other day it was quite funny. I actually injected in my arm, which is weird.
Oh, do you know what? I've been so tempted to do it because I keep mentioning, I'm so resistant at the moment. And I'm just trying to think of different ways to try and make my insulin work quicker.
But it was weird because I went to put it in. I was like, no. I went a little bit in. I went out, that hurt. I went a little bit in. I went out, that hurt. And then I just went, fucking get in. And then I actually done it. So I was it was like day one all over again.
Wow. Did it bleed?
Nah. It felt weird though. I could feel a tingle in my skin. It was weird.
Yeah, I might have to try it, man. I'll be a big boy.
Yeah, but you can do it, Jack. Right, let's move on. I think we've stayed on this subject way too long. Right, anyway, moving on. First low blood sugar.
Ooh.
Right, I'm not going to remember this, so I can't get involved with this.
I remember mine very, very clearly, and we've spoke about this before in earlier days on the podcast, and I had pulled up at the shops. I think it was like the second day after I had been diagnosed. I was with my friend and Zoe.
Yeah.
I didn't have a sensor. I was just finger pricks. So I remember pulling up at the shop and my whole body just started. I just felt weird. All of a sudden, I just felt like, this this is weird. Like something don't feel. Then I started sweating.
Yeah.
And then I started getting the shakes, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on, bruv? Like, I don't like this. And I just remembered, like, shit, I need to check my sugars. Like, I completely felt like, shit, I'm not used to it. So I remember I checked, and I remember I was 2.9. So I was just like, right, and it was dextrose. That was the only thing that I had when I first diagnosed. So I was eating dextrose. Fucking disgusting. It's just like eating bits of chalk.
That's it, yeah.
I remember shoving them in my mouth. My mate was absolutely, Jack, what do I do, brother? Do you need to go get it? I don't know what to do. Do you need me to do anything? Everyone was, it was just a big panic. And I remember I actually drove home in that state, all shaky and everything, because my house was 30 seconds from the shops.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I need to get home. I need to get home. I don't like this. I need to get home. So yeah, that was my first hypo.
So from that, what did you learn from it? Like, was that your first learning of your hypo symptoms?
Yeah. That was the real, like, oh shit, I've had this feeling before. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Like, oh wow. So, and that's when I started playing with things in my, again, we've spoke about this previously, like the amount of times I've had that feeling within like the year or so leading up to my diagnosis. And I always used to just go to my van at work and I'd have a bottle of Coke or I'd have a chocolate bar and I'd be all right. And I just thought it was always, I'm working too hard, or it's too hot, or I'm dehydrated or something. Your
first hypo, obviously, how long did it feel until you was normal again? Like in normal range?
Fucking ages. I remember sitting on my sofa, absolutely sweating, just staring into space. And I had Zoe on the right of me, and my mate was next to me this side. I was in the middle of the sofa, and they're both like that, looking at me, like just watching me. Like, you're right, and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is? I've got two faces either side staring at me. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, then it's that, you know, when you sort of like, I don't know, it's weird. You can feel the sugar kick in.
Yeah, you can.
Your symptoms just slowly start, and you think, "Oh fuck me, I feel normal again now."
Yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? It's like the way to explain it. It's like the sky is really overcast, then suddenly it just clears out. So
yeah. It's just like the fog just goes.
Yeah, the sky is your brain. That's for someone that's listening that's not diabetic. The sky is your brain, and all them clouds just disappear. And I'll tell you what, if you feel that sun burning your head too much once you've cleared all the clouds, guess what? You've got a high coming on.
yeah.
Because all the feelings go, oh, I'm really low. And then they go up a bit. And then you're like, oh, I feel good. And then you go up a bit more. And you're like, that's a different experience. So let's move on to the next one, which is first high blood sugar.
Oh, well, my first high was my diagnosis.
Yeah, that's fair. That's probably mine as well.
Like that's when I really finally felt, like, again, the same thing with the hypo. It was like, oh shit, that's that number. This is how I feel. Again, I've had this feeling before, previously, without, like, is that what it is? Like I've said it before, like, it's diabetes wasn't so much as a shock to me. It was an answer as to why I felt so bad and so rough leading up to it.
But do you remember, say, your second one then?
Yeah, well, it was that night, the first night I come home, and I remember I think I had like a packet of Quavers or something because I was too scared to fucking eat anything over 10 grams.
Yeah.
And my bloods have started going up, and that's, as I say, I absolutely put that shit, I'm going to end up back in hospital, I'm going to end up back on a drip, I'm going to do it, I'm checking my ketones. I think I was only like 11. And I'm checking my ketones and that, panicking. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just.
So yeah, it's the fear again. It's the fear of the unknown again. Same with a low. It's the fear of the unknown.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can say that now. How you was like when I first got diagnosed was like when I was coming to you and moaning and going like, Mike, my blood's really, really high. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Am I going to like end up back in hospital or anything like that? And you was just like, nah, you'll be fine, bro. Just have some insulin and you'll be cool. And I used to be looking at you like, all right, yeah, whatever, bro. Like, whatever. But now, as I say, years on, I can look back at that and go, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I can fully vouch for that. Just do some insulin, take your time, you'll be fine.
Mm.
Yeah, but like I say, with experience comes knowledge.
So, yeah, you had a better understanding of your diabetes after that all happened? Or was it just like another challenge to deal with? Like, oh, it's not only lows I get, it's highs.
Well, yeah, that was it. Like, oh, fuck me, I've got another thing to contend with now. It's just like the list just keeps getting longer.
Yeah. Guys, that's another reason to educate yourselves.
and like I say, it was so stressful for me at the beginning, and I can probably guarantee a lot of listeners will vouch for this because I didn't have a CGM straight away.
Okay.
I was just on finger pricks, and then like I had you who kept sending me your graph. And like you was just like, oh look, you need to get a sensor. Everyone keeps saying, oh, get a sensor. I'm like, they won't give me one, for fuck's sake. You can't just go in the shop and say, get a sensor, mate. I'm diabetic. Let's have one.
You actually can now, but you have to pay for it.
Oh, they can.
Sorry to anyone that's not from the UK who don't have NHS.
Yeah, but I as I say, because I didn't give, so that stuck out for me that day. The first day that I got my CGM was such an awarding day for me because it was, yes, I can finally actually keep track of my stuff instead of stabbing me fingers at work all the time.
Yeah, and the logbook.
Yeah, and I did keep that as well. And do you know what? I was so disappointed because when I had my first appointment to go back with my specialist, it said on the letter, you must bring a diary of your food and all your blood sugar levels. So I filled out the whole thing every single day, exactly what I ate, what I injected, what time, what my levels was. And they didn't even ask for it.
Bastards.
I had it in my bag, like, please, let me show you. I've been so good. I've done my homework.
Do you know why they don't probably look at it, Jack? Because it's probably old school diabetics like me that used to lie like shit in their logbook.
Yeah, you fuckers ruined it for me. Do you remember first time getting your CGM?
Oh, yeah, I remember it because obviously I got the scare with the eyes. So I thought, yes, now's time to just be a diabetic rather than have diabetes. Oh, that was quite deep. So I remember I went on Twitter. I used to use Twitter a lot back then. I posted a picture. I was like, yes, my little robot. And it made me care. It made me care about my diabetes.
Yeah.
And the way I managed it, I realized I can't just eat packets and packets of sweets like I used to because I would see the effects. Obviously, with running your sugar so high, the effects you don't see until a complication happens. But with a CGM, I'm seeing that my sugars are shooting. They're going really high. So it makes me think about what I'm doing more. So it is a very good, it controls you in a way that I find in myself very good. Yeah,
in that aspect, like you say, I could certainly vouch for that. Is when I first got it, I could see what certain foods was impacting me in the way that it really shouldn't be doing that. So it's like, it makes you realize like how shit some stuff that you're putting in your mouth actually is. Because if it's doing that for your body, it can't be good for you.
No, that's the way. That's it. It just brings control.
Yeah, and like you say, I like that thing that you said. It makes you care because it does.
Yeah, it makes you a diabetic. But yeah, CGM. I'm sorry if you've not got one and you can get one. Get one. Simple.
Yeah, 100%.
And also, it's the only way to visibly know that someone's diabetic. Other than a pump, but yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You could be getting cranky.
What?
I don't know.
Poor Jack gets cranky.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the next one.
My levels are 4. I need to eat something.
He's starting to I'm 4.6.
Just waffling.
Right, so first, diabetes burnout. I think you're really going through yours at the moment, to be fair, Jack.
I am. So let me just stop shoveling my mouth full of what's it.
No, you keep eating. I get
But yeah, I am.
Yeah. Go on.
Oh, sorry, mate.
No, like, I'm not going to go. Everyone's burnout is personal and different. So there's no certain way to explain it, right?
Yeah.
So the thing I'm going to say, what advice would you give to someone who feels like they're about to burn out from managing their type 1 diabetes?
I'm going to say a thing that I try and do, and I'm sort of doing it now, and is I try and simplify things.
That's really good.
So try and stick to the same sort of amount of carbs for each meal. I know it's boring, but try and eat the same foods. Try and keep the carbs down to a minimal if you possibly can.
So just set a routine. Let your brain do what it's doing, but keep your routine of your life as it is.
Yeah, and if you're, like I say, if you're simplifying things, you're eliminating certain things out of the equation for a while, just to give yourself a bit of a breather.
Yeah.
And once you're back on track, you can slowly reintroduce them things.
Yeah, it's like, don't throw a wild card in when you're going through it.
That is one of the things with burnout, though, because you get the hump with it, and I've done it, and I was sort of just, that's why I think last week was so shit, because I was so done with everything. I didn't give a fuck. So I was just eating shit. I weren't making myself any lunch. Because it just made you run down. It just, all motivation goes completely out the fucking window, and you just cannot be bothered to do anything.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster of emotion. So
sorry, bro. I was just gonna say, that's why I simplify things, because it's like it just takes that little bit less load off of you.
You lighten the load. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. And my advice is pretty similar. If there is certain things that are bothering you, just write them down and make a structure that works with what you've written down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ask an AI to do it. It might actually work.
Yes.
You never know. But yeah, just try. But you will get through it, so don't worry.
And it's a thing that we all go through.
I've got through it multiple times. I'm still here. Still diabetic as well, unfortunately. Blah, you know.
It'll be cool.
Moving on to another one. Your first trip away from home with type 1 diabetes. How was it? Did you have to plan much?
Yeah. I think I overplanned.
Oh, yes, you did.
A hell of a lot.
Oh, yes.
I come back with about 50 needles in my bag, but I didn't even use them.
Yeah. But my first time traveling, I don't know. I used to go on holiday a lot. Back then, I didn't have a CGM. It's just my insulin on planes and stuff. Just as a child, I was actually quite lucky in this sense. And this is why I have a lot of respect for parents of type 1 diabetic children, because I don't remember any stress of it. I just remember my holidays. I just remember the good times, because my mum and dad are amazing. They took amazing care of me, where I don't remember diabetes and holidays being a thing. I just remember my holidays.
Yeah, well, I suppose all you do is just show up.
Yeah, I literally show up.
They take care of everything.
Yeah. Like, Michael, you need to inject. Okay, doing.
Yeah.
That's it. So I just a massive thank you to my mum and dad, because you two are amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, that's nice.
But if you're older, this is where Jack comes in. And obviously I can later in life.
I was very panicky when I first got diagnosed, wasn't I? So anywhere I'd go out for a day trip to London, and I would literally take a suitcase with me.
It'd pack a CGM. Who takes a CGM?
Yeah,
I did. Trip?
I used to take a spare Libra. I actually remember the first time I went to an Arsenal game. They obviously had to search my bag, and the mate, he opened it, and it was full of food, bruv. And he went, "Fuck me, you hungry, mate?" I was like, I'm type 1 diabetic, bruv. Like, I don't want to eat that stuff. And he just went, all right, cool. But that was the first initial thought. Like, fuck me, I think I might be taking a little bit too much, bruv.
Yeah, nah, it's fine to overreact. It's not good to underreact, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I always like to over prepare.
Yeah, I'm one to, I will keep it on bare minimum. Now I'm older anyway. It's literally bare
Yeah.
minimum. But as a kid, mum and dad, I don't remember it, so you're amazing. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just remember, pack what you need. Maybe take a spare 1 or 2 things.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy.
No, you don't need to.
Nah.
And again, word of advice, it'll be all right. You'll be fine.
It'll be all right. Don't worry.
You will be fine.
Say don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is a diabetic thing.
All right, switched it up.
Right, so work. Let's go on to work, because obviously there's people that are older going to get diagnosed. Obviously, I remember my first job with a type 1 diabetic. Obviously, I was 10 years old, so I've still got to experience my first job.
Yeah.
I told him, I just used it as an excuse to eat. I'm not going to lie. So
What do you mean? It was just, I'm going low, I'm going for a break.
I didn't even say I was going low. I just said I'm diabetic. I need to eat. That's it. Right. And obviously, being diabetic, you're protected. So they have to follow what you say is part of your care plan.
Yeah.
So getting a bit older, you explain things better. And obviously, I was a 16-year-old, so I was thick as shit anyway. But advice-wise, I would say just let your boss and your co-workers know certain situations might arise. And please, please, please make sure you take breaks when you need them.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That is the most important thing ever.
100%.
Take the breaks if you're low. Take a break if you're high as well, because you could say something you don't mean. You can even do that when you're low. You need that time to normalize.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't go back to work. Well, I didn't have a first job, but obviously when I got diagnosed, I was off sick from work in the hospital. And I didn't go back for 2 months because I just didn't know how my body was going to respond, because I have such an active job.
Yeah.
But I've only just started within that first 2 months. I've only pretty much just learned the basics of how to sort of get by during the day. And all I was doing was sitting on my ass. Do you know what I mean? And now I've got to go back to work and fucking carry concrete posts and dig holes, and I've got to drive and it's simple things like, first thing, driving at work.
Oh God,
I was absolutely shitting my pants. First time I've done like a 2-hour journey in the van, like, fuck me, am I going to be all right? Like, I don't know, like, it all boils back to the big unknown.
Yeah. So what's the best? Create that safe space, like educate who's around you, as I've said before.
Yeah.
And be prepared for changes, because you're at work, you're not at home, you're away from comforts.
Yeah, exactly that. Make sure you've always got Hypo treats with you.
Yes, Hypo treat and insulin. Make sure you got insulin with you as well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So you can battle them lows and you can battle them highs, and you can get paid for it.
Yeah. And like Mike said, make sure you let everyone around you know. Like, even when I work on building sites now, and like big sites, like when you do like site inductions and things like that, I have to declare that I'm type 1 diabetic.
Yeah, I do on job applications, to be fair. No quiet time. Right. So yeah, education again, educating those around you so you yourself can stay healthy. I don't know what I'm waffling about. So right, so the next thing we're going to touch on is first date or first intimate moment. Jack ain't ready for this one.
That's not on the prompts.
Right.
That one in the flashcards, bruv.
No, I was just thinking about it. Do you know that? Because obviously, when you're diabetic, you're going to come into these situations. So obviously, you was married and got diabetes, like post. So obviously, but just I had some really shit dates because I was high or I was low. But I was mainly high, let's be honest. And it ruined the experience for me. I spoke about it in previous episodes. So just touching on this one real quick is just communicate. It's a bit like work. Going on a date with diabetes is a bit like starting a job with diabetes. You just need to talk about it. You need to prepare for it. You need to prepare for situations that might happen.
Yep.
So there, we're going to keep that one easy because Jack looked a bit scared. And guys, wrapping up this episode, we're going to end it on first time you felt truly proud of your diabetes journey.
Ooh.
When was the first time you truly felt proud of how you were managing your diabetes? Was it right away or did it take a while?
Well, everybody was telling me how well I was doing, but I didn't believe it myself.
So you hadn't felt it yet?
No.
When did you feel it, Jack? When did you feel it?
I'm going to say when I first put a video on social media.
That was when you felt, oh, okay, I like that.
Do you remember when I walked around Little Britain and I filmed myself for about 5 minutes, just talking about things, and I put it on social media, and honestly, thinking of that, honestly, that made me so proud of myself because I was never that person to be speaking in front of a camera about anything.
Yeah. Do you know what mine is?
What's that?
This podcast.
Do you know what? I wanted to say that, bro. I wanted to say that.
But... No, you didn't. He's trying to steal it off me, guys. But
no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I wanted to say that, but I knew I had moments before we started that made me think like, fuck me, yeah, I am really proud of myself. And it was that first step of like just putting things out there, just talking about things.
Do you know what's made me proud? My wife. She's like, you never used to be like this. There's many moments now, like,
yeah, that's nice, man.
I'm not used to this. Like, it was,
yeah.
And that was when we started the podcast. I never used to openly speak about my diabetes. I never used to say, oh, this affects my diabetes. I never used to talk about diabetes. So my proud moment of my diabetes journey is actually talking about it.
Yeah, that's nice, man. That's nice.
That is my proud moment. It's making my wife say, what the fuck?
Yeah, don't happen often.
Yeah.
It's either that or doing the washing up.
Yeah. But yeah, that is it. And I realized that being negative with your diabetes, it isn't great. It just causes a negative mind. You treat everything negatively. Oh, it's just moany. Don't be moany.
Yeah, it does. And again, when me and you started this, that made that negativity go away a lot because I don't know, it feels like we didn't even think anyone was going to listen to this podcast when we started it. Let's be honest, bruv. We were literally just making it because we wanted a platform for both of us to sit down and have a chat.
Yeah. And this morning I sent Jack how the podcast is doing, and we're fucking charting in 7 countries.
Yeah, like how?
7. We used to get hype about fucking Hong Kong. Do you remember?
Yeah. Now we're in 7 different countries, and I think over the past since we've started this, we've hit pretty much nearly every country in the continent.
Yeah, I think it is like at least. I don't know, but I know we're played in over 32 countries.
Yeah, see, that's just mind blowing, and that is just literally from us just talking every week,
just opening up.
And like I said, I think it's doing this podcast and having that certain presence online that makes you want to be positive. Because although we're telling the truth and we do touch on the negatives, you don't want to bombard with people with shit.
No.
So it's nice for them to see what really happens, but it's nice to them to see that there's a solution.
Yeah. And it's another reason, like, obviously, as we've touched a few times, I don't know if people have picked up on it, Jack is going through a really shit stage.
Oh, yes.
And that is also another reason why I've steered this podcast a bit topical because this is my approach to Jack. I care about, right, I'm going to ignore you're here now, Jack. I'm going to talk to the listeners. All right. I care about Jack, so I don't want him to waffle about the same stuff that's bothering him and that. I don't want him to dwell in that. Otherwise, he's just going to make a little pool for himself to sit in. He's going to feel shitty. And I don't want him to do that. So I'm going to give him some little armbands, right? So he can not go in that pool. Yeah. The pool's full of clowns. He don't want to go in that. So,
no, I'm not going nowhere near it.
I don't like clowns. So that's why this podcast has taken a topical approach the last few weeks. I know you have submitted wins and we haven't shared them. So apologies for that. We're very excited that you are still winning.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We really are. And we still like hearing them.
We do. Even though they're not getting shared on the podcast, we like hearing them. Does that make sense? But
yeah,
it
does.
If it does bother you guys, we can start sharing them again. And we probably will at some point. It's just like we talked about in certain subjects, it's preparing for situations that might arise.
Mm-hmm.
This is my way of doing it for Jack, if that makes sense.
Thank you, bro.
Because I didn't have that when I went through them.
Mm.
So I'm trying to do this for Jack. I know you're here, but I'm not talking to you. I'm just talking out of my head.
Yeah, I'm trying to zone out, bro. I'm trying to let you talk to the listeners. I'll start getting emotional.
Yeah. No, but
yeah, it's been tough. But the only way is up. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I will be passed through this shitty phase very soon.
You will, mate.
So, yeah.
Just so the listeners had a little insight, I thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah, I like that. And there was one bit of advice actually that my mum told me, and it was a saying that my granddad used to say all the time, and it really stuck with me. And it was, don't keep worrying yourself about things you can't change.
I like that.
That really has stuck with me, man.
Yeah, don't think it.
Literally, no matter what you do, you can't change nothing. So all you are doing, the only victim here that is getting hurt is yourself. Stop worrying.
Don't put yourself in that pool.
No, exactly. Look forward, don't look back.
Yeah. And on that note, guys, thank you for listening, and we will be back next week. What time and place, Jack?
Same time, same place. Back again next week. Thank you, everyone. You are all amazing. Yeah, we love you. See you later.
Yeah. And look forward to some guests coming up because it has been arranged.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's coming this summer. And guys, the big meetup. What month shall it happen? I'll put up a poll. What month? Obviously a hot one.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We do live in Britain though. There's no month is guaranteed to be hot. To be honest.
Yeah.
So it could be a meet-up in the rain, but we could bring a gazebo.
25 degrees in November. Well, see you later, guys.
Bye, everyone.